So making his way to the cage, Danny Mitchell, the Cheesecake Assassin, and Pierre, a very rounded fighter. Now, he's only had 2 fights this year, a draw and a loss, so this year hasn't been the best for him, but this is a good young man, isn't it?
I did a lot of research on this fighter, and he's a pedigree fighter. He's been in there with some of the top names. We're talking about names like Gunnar Nelson, Eugene Fadiora, Lee Dosky, Enrique Santana. I mean, these are guys that are at the top of the food chain here in the UK MMA world.
If we look at his record, as you said, there's good names on there. Now, if we look at his wins, there's only the 1 KO, but 6 submissions. That tells you something, most definitely.
Well, the last fight that I saw, he was up in Sweden on a show, and I tell you what, his ground game was really amazing. Above average, definitely. I tell you what, he showed me some things, and I've been doing BJJ for a while.
And you can hear the crowd's response because it's another local fighter. It's the Renegade, Dean Amasinger, the local boy from Nottingham, coming in next. And when we look at quality, 9 wins, 4 losses, and again, not the big KOs on there, but the subs. These could be very similar styles for these two men. And when we saw him, Pierre, at BAMMA 7, that was a comprehensive victory for him against Shahid Hussain.
What I will say about Dean is Dean, in my opinion, should have finished that fight because he was the better man, the better fighter technically, but for whatever reason it didn't happen. But you know, he's going to look back at his game plan, at the way that he trained, and he's going to put it all in there, and he's going to look to finish this here tonight, guaranteed.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen, this next attraction scheduled for 3 rounds in the welterweight division. Introducing to you first, fighting out of the red corner, his style Vale Tudo. At 6 feet 2 inches tall, he weighed in 170 pounds even. His professional record stands 9 victories, 3 defeats, and 1 bout even. Fighting out of Doncaster, England, he is the Cheesecake Assassin, Danny Mitchell. And next his opponent across the cage, fighting out of the blue corner, a mixed martial artist standing 5 feet 10 inches tall. He too weighed in 170 pounds. As a professional, his record, 8 victories and 4 defeats with 1 draw. He fights out of and represents his hometown of Nottingham, England. Here's Dean Renegade Amasinger. Referee in charge of the action, Mark Gunner.
So if you look at the tail of the tape here, Pierre, 25 years of age, Danny Mitchell, 2017 Amasinger. Big height difference in favor of Mitchell. Styles very similar. The Renegade versus the Cheesecake Assassin. As I said, I think this is for bragging rights at British level.
Definitely, and both of these guys have the tools that it takes to make that next step. Oh, look at that. Dean Amasinger ducks up underneath the punches, looking for a possible clinch, which he gets, pushing Mitchell up against the cage. Now, what I find interesting about this is that Mitchell is the longer of the two, meaning that he can keep Amasinger on the outside. Amasinger is going to have to fight his way to the inside. However, saying that, do you take it to the ground when you know that Mitchell's ground game is so smooth and slick?
This is the problem that Amasinger faces, and as you said, he was here at BAMMA 7, he was a victor, but you felt there's far more to him than that. You felt that wasn't the best performance you've seen from him.
Not at all. Dean Amasinger had a couple more gears that he just didn't show that night. I've seen his past fights. I know what he's capable of, and let's see if he can transfer what he can do to what he does do here tonight.
But as you said, you've highlighted a very good problem. His opponent seems to have the tool of the trade for him. I mean, Danny, as you said, he's tall and lean, and yet if he does go to ground, he's got those valley judo still. So what would you do if you were Dean? Because it is a quandary.
He has to fight in the middle ground, you know, work the dirty boxing off the clinches, try to score the points. If he goes down to the ground, I want to be inside mount. I want to be landing short little shots. I don't want to give any appendages away.
Now, being fair, at the moment, they've been in this clinch. It hasn't been the best opening to a round, or certainly the most exciting to a round, but there is a lot of stake because these are two experienced men, some big names on their CVs, and I think they know what this means.
I mean, you cannot make a mistake at this level. A small mistake could be a deal breaker here.
That's right, and so they spent a long time, almost 2 minutes in the clinch here, Pierre, and finally Mark Goddard, referee, splits him, and I think it's a good decision.
Yeah, and Mark, ooh, big shot. I heard that across.
Oh, nice. It was a right round leg kick, followed by a right hook. Now, the leg kick landed soundly. The right hook missed by a whisker from the shorter man, Dean Amasinger.
Now, Dean is just plodding through, giving no respect to the punching power of Danny Mitchell, and he's been able to get the clinch off of both times that he's come forward off of the punches.
Oh, big knee, though, from Mitchell to the face of Amasinger. He took it well.
Amasinger's got to watch out because while he's thinking about the knees, Mitchell's trying to come over the top with those nice little short elbows. Yes. Even if it doesn't knock you out, it could still cut you.
Yeah, it's a very dangerous cutting tool, the elbow. And again, as I said to you, the fascinating thing about this is if you look at both men, they've only had one actual knockout each, and both the highlights have been submission victories, and yet this whole fight has been against the cage there.
And I tell you, it's a real hard night when that's how the fight goes for full 3 rounds, if it goes that way. It's a war of attrition. Back up against the cage, and you have to fight for every little inch of space. Big right, oh, both guys swinging for the fences here.
And both just missed with those right hands. Side kick there from this Cheesecake Assassin. And that short chopping right leg kick from Amasinger, I think, is a winner. I mean, against the taller man, slow him down, take that lead leg. And twice, Pierre, he's only just missed with the right hand follow-up.
Amasinger is setting it up. I would like to see, again, over the top. Barely missed there. Again, he's landing with that right cross. But I'd like to see those kicks followed up with punches. Let's run it top to bottom. Get Mitchell guessing at what's coming next.
Well, Mitchell looked nice and loose, but the key to this whole moment here was when that right hand landed from Amasinger, that's when Mitchell went for the takedown. So I think he felt that one.
Yep. Now you see Mitchell going for a possible high crotch takedown here. Amasinger is feeding very nicely, defending.
But overall, those moments have been rare where they've been in the middle of the ring. It's mostly been against this ring apron, which I think for the judges is very difficult to score.
But luckily for us, we have very good judges that know the game, and they'll do their best to make sure the right guy comes out with the win.
Yes, that isn't our problem, most certainly, but I think it is a problem for the judges. You've heard the last 10 seconds of this fight, and we've got this a very, very difficult one to judge indeed. So, second round coming up, and we've got the first round very even with neither man really able to assert himself. As I said from there, Mitchell looks loose and relaxed, but Amasinger has already asked questions of the taller man.
Well, Again, as you pointed out, the key to this, I think, is leading off with that right round kick. Let's slow down that looseness and the mobility of Mitchell. And beautiful transition there, dropping the level, goes in for the double. However, Amasinger does have an arm in, and he's able to defend that, dropping his base.
And it's only the second time in the fight so far that Mitchell has gone for this takedown attempt.
And it's kind of surprising because we discussed it during the walk-ins, that we thought that the longer, leaner guy would keep it on the outside with his jabs, his punches, and his kicks. However, saying that, Amasinger has been the one to dominate the stand-up.
That's right, he's come very close on numerous occasions with that right hand, set up by that right leg. But again, when we spend a lot of time against the wire like this, there's the right hand from Amasinger.
And he looked at, he has him on the cage.
And you can hear the crowd response from his local Nottingham fans, and it's that right hand again of Amasinger coming in under the taller man, like Mike Tyson.
Exactly like Mike Tyson. Let's get that momentum shifting left to right, come up over the top, and I tell you what, that had me out of my seat, Malcolm. I want to apologize to the fans behind me because I was just, I was out of my seat screaming about that shot.
That's right. You can get off my lap now, Pierre. That's great, and we'll get back to the commentary. But we needed that in this fight, didn't we? That's brought this fight to life.
And you know what? It's given Amasinger, a way forward. It's given him some spark, and that's what I love to see here in a fight of this caliber.
So Dean Amasinger negating that height advantage of the Cheesecake Assassin. But look at this, Pierre.
Now he went for a flying triangle, and that looks very deep. Now Amasinger's doing the right thing in that he's posturing up. The closer his base gets to the ground, the more compact that gets, the tighter that triangle goes. Now he needs to make sure, he really needs to posture up this.
He's tapped. From nowhere, it was all Amasinger up to the point where suddenly Mitchell switched tactics, Pierre, superbly.
If you question Mitchell's pedigree for BJJ, Vale Tudo, whatever grappling system that you want to call it, he just answered that tonight. Beautiful setup, and I tell you what, Amasinger looks beside himself. The flow was going towards his way. He was scoring. Beautiful.
Ladies and gentlemen, 2 minutes, 28 seconds, round number 2. Submission comes by triangle for your winner, the Cheesecake Assassin, Danny Mitchell.